Welcome back to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Murrell, proudly sponsored by Super Resin. This week's special guest is Katie Newell, first person in the UK to be prescribed Viagra for chronic kidney disease and Loin Pain Hematuria Syndrome. Katie takes us through her journey of growing up in and out of hospital from a young age, living with these conditions that doctors struggle to diagnose, and what it's really like navigating life with a rare illness. Thanks for listening and watching this episode.
This doctor had got my notes mixed up with another girl who was also called Katie. Do you know, if this podcast helps one person, I'd be happy with that. If we can get the patients, I'm going to go for funding for research, and by hook and by crook I've got on it.
Welcome to the Good, the Bad and the Ugly podcast with me, Tony Murrell, and this week's special guest is Katie Newell.
Hi.
Really looking forward to you sharing the Good, the Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah.
How are we?
I'm okay, I'm doing really well at the moment. Thank you for having me on and helping me raise much needed awareness for what we're going to talk about.
Listen, Katie, your story's one that blew me away when you first reached out. I thought, is this a wind-up? And I'm just being genuinely honest. You know, your story, living with CKD and LPHS, wanting to raise awareness and being the first female in the UK to be prescribed Viagra on the NHS. Off licence.
Got to get that bit in.
Got to get that bit in. But listen, very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's ready to blow people's minds. So let's get right into it. So just want to start from where you're from, where you grew up, family life and school life was like.
I'm from West Derby, born and bred. I'm one of two children. I've got an older brother, Greg, and there's just my dad and my mum. And they've been married 45 years. And school life was okay until I got to secondary school, when all my problems started. Then it's got a little bit mad.
You get a bit mad. It's like that, making that thing from primary school to secondary school. It's a bit of that transition period's a bit like for all kids. But when you got to secondary school, you said, you know, you started having problems and stuff. What type of problems was it that you were dealing with?
What I was getting a lot of water infections a lot. And my mum, funnily enough, used to be a nurse. And they were coming all the time. She'd take me to the doctor, get antibiotics, and then it'd go for a week and then it'd be back. And in the end, my mum said, like, look, this isn't right. Like, she's had, like, so many courses of antibiotics. I want something done, like, further tests or something. And she took me to this different GP in the surgery, and he said, Maria, I quite agree with you. Like, this isn't right. And so they sent me to Aintree, because by this time I was, like, 13, 14. And he said, at first, you were like, oh, it's because she started puberty. She started a lazy time.
Hormones.
Yeah, and it'll all settle down. She just needs 12 months and it'll settle down. And it didn't. And my mum pushed and pushed and said, right, I wanted to see someone. So by the time I would have been referred to Alder Hay, I was then transitioned over to adult services. So they kind of made an exception for me and took me into Aintree. And yeah, I was diagnosed then with having what they call a pelvic ureteric junction blockage. So that's like where your kidney is, like that. There was blocked. It was just like an abnormal piece of skin or something that I was born with. So they cleared that. And then I was still having problems on and off. But I used to suffer a lot, and I still do, with chronic pain. Like,
The pain's like just excruciating. Yeah.
like I can be sat here talking to yourself now, Tony, and I can be absolutely fine, and then 5 minutes later I can be on that floor and I can be in agony, sobbing.
Just like that.
Just like that, yeah.
You know, that's scary, because when you're a young kid,
Yeah.
you know, when you go into these hospitals or you go to the doctors and they can't put the finger on it, then your mum's like, and then your mum takes you to see for a second opinion. There must have been worry there for obviously your parents, but for you.
God, yeah, and like, because I pass a lot of blood in my urine as well, and I was questioning, like, Mum, why am I doing that? And my mum was like, because the condition I've got is so rare, nobody's really heard of it until fairly recently. So my mum was like, I don't know why you're peeing blood. And I'm talking, I don't know how graphic I can go.
Yeah, no, listen, it's your story, so yeah, you just tell us how it...
It's like, when it's really bad, it looks like Ribena. On an off, kind of, not a great day, but not that terrible, it can look like rosé wine. And then sometimes it can be absolutely normal.
Yeah.
It just depends. Each day is completely different, but nobody has an answer. And then they kept doing tests like scans and x-rays and stuff. And then it turns out that I have also uric acid kidney stones.
Well, I was about to touch on this. I've had kidney stones before.
Yeah.
You know, so for a man when they're passing kidney stones, I remember the doctor, I've had it a couple of times, and the doctor, because it's like, when they do the x-ray and you can see the stone or whatever, but when it breaks into granules and you're passing it in your urine, the pain, I've never experienced pain like it.
Well, the funny thing is, Tony, I was having all these scans and x-rays, and the kidney stones I produce are radiolucent. So they were there, but they never seen them.
They wasn't picked up?
It wasn't picked up because they're radiolucent. So when they were x-raying me, they wasn't showing up. When they were CT scanning me, it wasn't showing up. It was only when they done an ultrasound scan on me that they seen there was stones there. And
you know when you're saying they can't see anything, and did you genuinely think that they were thinking that you were lying or sort?
Yeah.
Did that come into your thoughts?
Yeah, plenty of times, and I still get that now. That I think that when I see doctors or medical professionals who don't know about the condition, and don't get me wrong, I know everybody's human, and I know they're only human.
Yeah.
And I know they're not going to know everything. But sometimes, when you can get someone a bit funny, and you just think I'm drug seeking or I'm just wanting attention, and it's not. But it's just, I did feel kind of validated once they done the ultrasound scan, because then you could see that these stones were there, and then that led then to doing 24-hour urine collections, and then that showed then I had a high level of uric acid passing in me urine.
That must have been like, do you know what? All these tests and all that must have been like mind blowing for you, and thinking, and you're questioning yourself, like, or you're saying to your parents, aren't you, Mum, am I normal? Or was that going through your mind and stuff like that?
Yeah. And then, like, obviously, you know, I was in senior school at this point, so I was getting a lot of people making rumours, saying things that wasn't true, saying I'd gone jaundice, saying I'd done this, and it was not true. But obviously, because I was missing so much to school, then I was going back, people were like, oh, is this true that I heard this? And you're like, no.
That's just Chinese whispers, isn't it?
Yeah.
Someone puts 10 pence worth, and by the time it comes to you, it's a £1,000,000, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But even like in school and stuff, like you say in secondary school, by that time, nearly doing your exams and stuff, and you're missing a lot of school. Was it hard to try and adapt back into school after doing all the tests and stuff?
Yeah, it was. And because I was constantly in and out of hospital, it was hard. And I couldn't actually sit some of my GCSEs because I was actually in intensive care, like on a high dependency ward. And because I was missing so much of school, my mum and dad were getting letters threatening them with taking them to court, threatening them with counsel.
While you're lying in the ICU?
Yeah.
That is just...
It blows your mind, doesn't it?
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah, and like, my mum's like, my daughter's in hospital, she's on a high dependency ward. It's not a case of she's just telling me she's got the flu and she's in hospital.
Or she's sagging school or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I know kids do that, but like, in the end, a consultant of mine, my urologist, he said, leave it with me, Mrs. Newell. That's what he said to my mum. And he wrote this letter, and it was brilliant. I wish I had a copy of it with me. It was brilliant. It said, like, Katie can come in and sit here exams if you can afford to pay my wages, basically, pay for the nurses to look after Katie, can adapt her to put her in a room where the hospital bed can come. And if you can accommodate all this, then yes, she can come in and do her exams. It was really like a sarky letter he sent.
Did he send it to the school?
Sent it to my school, yeah. Sent it to the headmaster.
What was the school's reaction to that?
They'll give her a predicted grades for the ones that I missed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
You have to go to them lengths to like...
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, and you'd think there'd be support, or you know what I mean? And obviously, you know, they're gonna... Your mum's not gonna lie, you know, my daughter's in an ICU unit, and she's, you know, she's not very well, you know what I mean? And stuff like that. But from there, where did it go? Where did it lead to from there?
So I started passing blood quite consistently. I had all the operations to have the kidney stones removed, so I had them lasered, like you were mentioning before. I've passed them myself.
The pain's just unbelievable, isn't
I've heard it's worse than childbirth, but I've never had a baby, so I can't clarify.
I've definitely not had a baby.
I can't confirm nor deny. But yeah, I've passed them myself. I've had radio shockwave treatment to have them lasered. I've had them where they've cut me back, cut me like into my back and fished them out, because some of them have been that hard that they couldn't break them up. Yeah.
So you've had all kinds of procedures and ops and stuff and everything.
Yeah, I've had stents, I've had nephrostomies, you name it, I've...
Sounds like you've had a season ticket in the Aussie, to be honest.
Well, do you know what? I was quite lucky, Tony, because my dad worked there. So I was quite lucky. My dad worked on the maintenance, so he'd be coming up on his dinner break. And if there was anything ever broke on the wood, he'd go, Katie's your dad coming in like on his dinner hour? And I'd go, why? And you go, they tell you there's not working, or this is broken there. And by the time we go to maintenance, it'll be another week. But if your dad can have a word and just do it. So it did have its perks, but it was also horrible overnight knowing that I was only 15, 14, 15.
You're still a young girl, aren't you?
Yeah, and I'm on a ward, and it's predominantly a lot of older people, what I thought was old at the time, like, you know, and it was hard. And even when my mum was getting all these letters about me attendance and stuff like that, I used to worry that, like, I'd be in hospital worrying about my health, but then I'd be worrying about my mum and dad, because I'd be like, God, if it's my fault that they're getting these letters, and, you know...
You're questioning yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And you're strain as well, you know, you're still a young girl and stuff, and like you're saying, your childhood where you'd be out with your mates and doing what you'd know like a 15-year-old kid would be
getting
doing.
Drunk on the corners.
Or going to the park and all that, like most of us did. But, you know, being in a hospital and stuff like that must have been so hard. And from the age of 15, you know, was you just questioning everything, or was you just...
Yeah, and because I was so naive as well, because obviously I wasn't educated then on my condition or anything, I'll tell you one story which is quite important, I think, is this doctor came to see me one day, and my mum was a nurse, and I obviously at the time didn't understand what he was saying, and he come and he said, Katie needs a kidney out, and X, Y and Z, and my mum's tried to keep it like, don't worry, love, you'll be fine. But I could tell by my mum's face that this...
She tried to blend it, basically.
Blend it, yeah. And he prescribed me these tablets. And I was supposed to be going to theatre the next day to have a camera put in my kidney. And the nurse come round and she gave me nighttime meds. And you don't question it, do you? You just take them. And I said to my mum, like, your chest feels really, like, quite funny. I mean, mum, it's probably your anxiety because, you know, you're going to theatre tomorrow, try and sleep. And then... the next thing I remember is waking up and there was all these doctors around me and there was blood just everywhere. And this doctor had got my notes mixed up with another girl who was also called Katie and prescribed me her meds and then prescribed her mine. And so obviously when the nurse...
Well, he's had a reaction to it, obviously.
Yeah, I was allergic to it. I had an asthma attack, yeah. Really bad one. My mum got a phone call at about 10 o'clock at night and said, your daughter's took a turn for the worst. You've got to come in. And my mum was like, what? I was only there like 2 hours ago and she was absolutely fine. But...
so, obviously your mum being a nurse and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When she's got to the hospital and she sees what's going on, yeah, that's probably fell off and she's, what's going on here? And
she didn't even wait for my dad to get up out of bed. She's literally just got in the car and went. She literally just, as soon as she got that phone call, she jumped up and she went. She didn't even wait for my dad, which she said she just went into autopilot.
Yeah.
I just got to get there. And I know, like, I don't remember this, and this is what my mum told me. Like, one of the nurses said, oh no, Mrs. Newell, don't go down. And it was only later on, she said to her, I forgot that you were a nurse. She said, but I didn't want you to see what they were doing. We wanted to wait till she was stable till you go down. And I don't remember what happened. I just know I couldn't breathe. And then the next thing I'm waking up and there's all these people around me.
Tubes and all that.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. What happened from there, Katie? Was it like, you know...
Well, the doctors wouldn't, like, kind of own up to who prescribed it.
Don't you have to sign and all that stuff?
Yeah, but it was just like a squiggle. So this,
no one
but I knew exactly who it was because he'd been to see me and my consultant came in and he had these doctors lined up.
Like an identity parade.
I swear to you, I'm sat here now, honestly. And he said to me, tell me what doctor come to you yesterday. And I went, it was him. And he literally threw me notes down. And this is in front of me mum. And he said, you nearly killed this girl last night. And I never seen that doctor again from that.
But that's what I'm saying, you know, you could not be here to tell, you know, to tell us your story, do you know what I mean? And it's mad, isn't it? When you think about, like, you know, other doctors or nurses giving, you know what I mean? And do you know what?
I mean, look, this is only having another nurse on or whatever, like we were speaking before about it.
Yeah.
And do you think it was just, you know, they were understaffed or something, or they just
Yeah, I think
stuff
maybe
like
it's
that,
been too much pressure, not enough staff, as you say. You know.
overweight, because look, it's totally wrong. You've got to be on the ball. I mean, that
Yeah.
profession's a very, very hard profession to do and stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, like, you could have lost your bloody life. You know what I mean? And and lucky enough that you're still here to tell a story. Do you know what I mean? And it's one of them. But going from there, what was the following procedures that where we're going to lead to?
So it's taken me since I was 16 to get my formal diagnosis of Loin Pain Hematuria Syndrome. And that came about 2 years ago. And I'd seen this doctor before in clinic. And I say that day he saved my life. I honestly believe that doctor saved my life that day because I was so suicidal because of the pain I was constantly in.
Was you contemplating? Was you just...
I did try to end my life, yeah.
Seriously?
Yeah, because, you know...
Did you think there was just like... You were getting nowhere with it? The pain was excruciating?
Yeah, and you can't plan anything. Like, with my condition, like, I know we've had this planned for a couple of weeks, me to come in. But my mum and dad have brought me because during the night I've had a flare up, so that's why my parents are outside in case my mum...
You could have come in actually and started, but you know what though? But that's the type of thing you've had to deal with, probably all through your life, because you don't know what's going to happen. No. And you just said you could be speaking to me 1 minute and the next thing you could be on the floor in excruciating pain. And you did messages and say, do you mind if my mum and I come on? I said, no, not a problem, you know what I mean? You would have been happy to sit over there and that.
Well, I don't know whether my dad would have been happy to sit in here, like, with all the evidence,
but we'll
let that go.
I know he's in a big family of Reds, aren't you? So he's buzzing over there. He's a big Liverpool fan like you, but I did notice on your thing that you're a big, massive Liverpool fan and stuff. But going back to that, your mum and that and your dad and your thoughts and stuff like that, because a lot of people do suffer with these thoughts and stuff because of what they've been through, and they think, look, I can't go on here, and it's not, people don't know how people feel and what state of mind people are in. And I always say, look, people would rather be seeing you every day instead of seeing you going to your funeral and stuff like that, you know what I mean? But everybody's different, and you just think, that's the way I felt.
It was.
And that's the way I feel, and I thought that was the only way out.
Yeah, and I think I had a lot of guilt as well, because I've got an older brother there, and Greg, and he's an amazing big brother. He's always been dead understanding. And I've always felt like I took his mum away from him a little bit.
Because she was at hospital appointments and stuff like that.
Yeah, and because, there could be visiting time and she never missed it because she knew I was only a young girl in there. And I'm a daughter, and I've still got that guilt now. And he says to me, don't be soft. Like, if it was me, what would you say? And I go, yeah, I know, but... And he goes, but nothing, like, you're my sister. And
it's nice that he's a big brother who understands, and I totally get what you're saying.
Yeah.
We could be going footy training or doing stuff with or mum
all the times with
you, yeah, and stuff. But you know what? You can see he's a good one. What you can hear, he's a good one because of what you're saying. Don't be stupid.
Yeah.
You're his little sister, and he understands that he wants his little sister to go to these appointments and to do what needs to be done to try and solve this problem. Yeah. So, it's one of them where you say you feel guilt. I get where you're coming from.
Well, he said to me one day, when I was saying before that I tried to end my life because of how I felt with the mental side of it and being in chronic pain all the time. And he's got 3 wonderful kids, like Ellie, Ollie and Lily, so I'm just giving them a little shout out. They'll be made up with that. And he said to me one day, and he was very matter of fact, which is not normally my brother. He kind of...
When you told him this, was he...
Well, when my dad found me, my dad obviously rung him and my brother come over, and I'm very close with my nieces and nephews, and he said to me, next time you feel like that, and I went, yeah. He went, just imagine the conversation I'm going to have to sit down and have with my kids. He said, of...
Auntie.
Wait, 1 minute Auntie Katie's here playing, talking, texting, whatever, and then she's gone.
And what was that like? Did it hit you like a ton of bricks? Did it...
And I've never tried since. Never. And I wouldn't.
Do you know what? That's powerful, that, because your big brother's, you know, he's telling, and these
I
hard
can see you're a
truths.
bit upset.
I am, because you know what? It's like, when someone feels like that, I've had like people who I care about and that take their own lives and stuff, but it gets to a point where sometimes home truths, like, you know, it's what's the word? It's I don't want to say true love. It's being true to yourself, and
Yeah.
you've got to home truths. Sometimes you've got to be hard about it, and it's
you've got to be horrible to be nice, haven't you?
yeah, that's the word. You've got to be, you know, horrible to be nice, and not in the way horrible, but you've just got to hear it, and you've got to be truthful, and you've got to say, listen, you need to get and I think that was like saying about your nephews and nieces and stuff, and your big brother saying that is like,
got to be cruel to be kind, haven't you?
that's the one. I was looking for another word. I went on a little bit of a what's name, but
no.
It's one of them, and I you know, I'm tearing up because, like I say, we've all lost someone to someone who's, you know, sadly took their own lives and stuff, and you just think, oh.
I've got a best friend of mine that did that, and my brother said, this was about 12 to 18 months after my brother said that to me, and I thought, do you know what? You're right, Greg. You're right. And I just remember as well, thinking back to my friends who took a life, like being at her funeral and seeing how devastated.
It's the domino effect that everyone around, the family, the sons, the daughters, you know, friends.
Yeah.
You know, and I think they wouldn't want people to be like that, because that doesn't come into the thought process. That's what I get. That's what I'm guessing.
Yeah.
I'm not you know, saying I can see things and anything, but you're totally right. It's the effect that it has afterwards. But when people are in that state of mind and they think they can't speak to anyone, there's always a solution.
Yeah.
There's always a solution. At the time, you always think there's not a solution. You feel like the whole world's panning in on you and you're sinking. And listen, we're all human. We all have feelings. We all, you know, we put this brave face on, men and women.
Yeah.
And I always stick to this motto, and it's on the cup: strong walls shake, but they never collapse.
Yeah.
And I always stick by that. It was a quote I seen years and years ago, and I just stick to it now. Do you know what I mean? Even though how hard it is, and we can all struggle at times, whether it's in life in general or going through some kind of adversity in life, business, you know, can get on top of you and stuff like that. But then there's always a solution. You've always got to speak to someone and listen. Your big brother hit it home.
He did, and from that day it was like a light switched, went on, and I was like, do you know what? You're right.
Do you know, after your brother spoke to you, you know, was it then you come across this consultant?
No, it was just by pure chance I came across him. I was in clinic and it was the nephrology team I was seeing. And usually I'd have this other doctor, but I'm assuming he mustn't have been in that day or something. And I say that an angel picked up my case notes. And this man is an absolute angel. And when I tell you some of the things he's done, you will be...
Is this the gentleman you sent me the bits and bobs on? Yeah.
He picked up my notes and he called me in. And he said to me, I think I know what's wrong with you. And so, right. He said, have you ever heard of Loin Pain Hematuria Syndrome? And I was like, I've read about it, but there's not a lot out there, Tony, to read about on it.
There's nothing out there for you to go and research and stuff?
Not much, no. There is now, because I've kind of pushed it out there.
And this is why we wanted you to come on,
Yeah. And he said, but to be diagnosed, it's not a case of what you have got, it's what you haven't got, which is the incredible thing with Loin Pain Hematuria Syndrome. I had to check that. I didn't even know this was a thing, by the way, tuberculosis in my kidneys. Didn't know that was a thing. But obviously I haven't got that. And I had to have all these different tests done. And about 6 months later, I seen him again and he says, I can confirm that you've got Loin Pain Hematuria Syndrome.
LPHS, isn't it?
Yeah. And then he said to me, do you know of any treatments? Do you know about the treatments for it? And I was like, there's like renal denervation, where you burn the nerve endings to the kidney. But I didn't really want to do that.
Sounds very painful, if I'm going to be honest. Even though you're probably under anaesthetic and whatever, but it's still...
And also what they can do is, I don't know how this works, but apparently they take your kidney out and put it in a different part here, and that's meant to help with the pain. I don't know how that works. My dad said to me, you'd look soft if you put it on your head, wouldn't you? That's what my dad said to me. You know, if you go for that, love, you look a bit soft if it goes on your head. And then he told me I can try Viagra. Was I be interested in trying Viagra to Tadalafil?
Do you know what? Do you know
That's what
what?
brought some with me today to show you.
Do you know what? This is why, again, when you said to me about being prescribed Viagra off license,
Yeah.
and I was like that thinking, is this a thing?
It's just a wind up.
And it was mad because we done an episode last week and we got in a taxi, me and Ben,
Yeah.
and we were talking about it, and the taxi driver, a lady,
Yeah.
we were talking about you,
Oh, go away.
and she said, and she was dead interested. She was like, I listen to podcasts and all that, and we were saying, she must have heard us talking in the back about being our next guest and stuff coming on. And the conversation we had was so interesting. And what did she say again? She said about, like, it's not just obviously in men for what, you know, what people would think Viagra's used for.
It's the blood and that, isn't it? Blood circulation and stuff like
Yeah, it helps with the circulation, dilation of the blood vessels, and
because that's what, when we put this out, people are going to say Viagra for a
woman.
For a woman. Was that your reaction when he said that to you?
Well, I said to him, but I'm female. And he went to me, I'm well aware you are female, Katie. And you know, my mum, well, you met my mum before.
Yeah.
She's dead shy normally. And I said to him, I'm not going to need a Madonna comb bra from the 80s, am I, if you put me on Viagra? I went, I'm not going to walk around like that. That's exactly, I mean, mum went to me, Katie, you can't say that to your doctor. But so he said to me, I'm going to try and get it. I'm going to try and get it prescribed for you. And he had to go to the board in HG Hospital. And he had to go to them and say, look, she's tried to end her life because of the pain. Because he'd read about this. He'd not actually prescribed it before. So I was the first patient he ever prescribed
In
it
the
to.
UK?
In the UK. I was the first person to go on it for this condition. And he had to go to the board. And he said, look, I've got all these papers from America. She fits all the criteria. Can we try? It's going to probably work out a lot cheaper to give her this medication than hospital admissions, appointments, other appointments that she'll need for other consultants, because obviously then I've got a pain consultant now as well. So he said, I think if we can give her this tablet, it will save the NHS money and it'll also help Katie. And it took him about 6 weeks, and whatever he said, that man saved my life that day.
That's unbelievable, because like you say, you're going in to see your normal consultants. He's obviously not in that day. This guy turns up,
Dr. Goldsmith, yeah.
Dr. Goldsmith, and then he's telling you, well, like, if you haven't got this, you haven't got that. And then when he comes out with the word Viagra, what's your mind thinking? What the hell's going on here?
Well, the first thing he said was, but I'm female. And he was like, I know. And then he was telling me about, like, you know, how we can dilate the vessels in the kidney, how it can help with the pain because it's not restricted. And it has helped. It has massively helped. I still, don't get me wrong, I still have chronic pain, but it's not as bad as it was.
So do you have to take, how many times a day do you have to take?
Well, these ones are 20 milligram ones now, so I've been stepped up, but I've also had bariatric surgery this year, and because my weight has gone down quite dramatically, I've now had to go back down to 5, which is amazing, but I take it once a day, and
it's working for you.
Yeah, like, I know I'm not naive. I know I'm always going to have pain. I'm going to live with pain for the rest of my life. I know that, but it has helped with the flare-ups. Yeah, it has helped a lot with that, and my morphine amount that I used during my flare-ups is reduced because of this medication.
Now then, everyone, sorry for interrupting this episode. Here's a message from our sponsor, Super Resin. They are specialists in resin driveways and flooring across North Wales and the North West. Whether it's a driveway, worktop or flooring, they've got you covered. For 10% off, use the code TGTBTU. Now let's get back to the episode.
How did your family and friends and that react when you mentioned fire? You know, first off, because I know probably later on when you told them and all that, there's some joking going on, but what was the first reaction? What was the initial reaction like?
My dad was like, behave yourself. You can't go on that. And I went, why? He said, well, it's for men. He said, and that one, but the bit that made me laugh was my consultant said to me, it's Tadalafil, and it's the one where it makes men go for 3 days. He said, but I've never met a man who can do it yet. That's what my consultant said to me. I've yet to come across a man who can go for 3 days solid. Honestly, it's like, honest to God. And, you know, it was the laughing that we did really because, like, especially because I was the first one as well in the UK to go on it. So there was nothing out there for me to read about. Like, everything was aimed in America and there was nothing at all.
It's crazy, isn't it? Because you think, you know, you're going to go onto this, you know, these prescribed what's names and stuff, and then you're thinking, I just want to do a little bit of research to see what the side effects are.
You always say don't Google. Don't Google. That's exactly what everyone does. We all Google.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to read it for myself and see, because he did explain it to me, but at the time your mind was blown.
Because your head's blown in it,
yeah. Your mind was blown with the whole, it's Viagra. So I wanted to do my own little research and there was nothing there for me to really read. Yeah,
you know, your consultant is leading research. How important is that relationship in between you? I mean, he sounds like what you said.
Can I just say, and I hope he's watching this because he doesn't get enough credit, this man. And last week I had a particularly bad flare-up and he was on annual leave and he was away with his family and his secretary emailed and said, Katie's having a bad flare-up. And within half an hour when he's off, he's emailed back and said, give her this with the pain team. And how many doctors do you get? Consultants as well, because sometimes they can be a bit standoffish. And I've actually got a picture of where we're hugging. I asked him, I said to him, because he's so loving to all his patients, he will do anything to help anyone. And he said to me, if we can get the patients, I'm going to go for funding for research. And I said to him, you leave that with me, I'll get you the patients. And by hook and by crook, I've got them. There's 15 of us now, which...
Do you know what? And this is why, coming on here, we can put it out on all the platforms and stuff like that, where people just coming across your story, their daughter or their son or whoever, or, you know, who could be going through exactly the same symptoms, suffering with like water infections all the time, kidney infections all the time, and they're getting nowhere.
Yeah.
And by listening to your story, you're raising awareness and they'll go, oh my God.
Well, it's funny you say that to me, Tony. A lady, I think she's in her 50s, and she listened to a podcast I was on called Diary of a Kidney Warrior, and she said she sat there and at the end of it she cried, and she messaged me on Facebook, and the reason she cried is because she felt validated, because she listened to my symptoms and what I'd been through, and she'd gone through exactly the same, and she was
pushed through them.
Yeah, and she said, I've got to find this girl, I've got to find her, and she did, and she's now getting seen by Dr. Goldsmith.
How did that make you feel when you're getting messages like that? How does that make you feel?
Do you know, if this podcast helps one person, I'd be happy with that. It's one person. If it helps more, amazing. You know, I do it so people don't have to go through what I went through and what my parents went through, and my brother as well. You know, I remember there's been times where my dad's crying on the phone to the ambulance service, please hurry up and help her, please come and help her, you know. And if I can prevent that for someone else, all the better.
And even though you're going through all this, Katie, you care about other people.
Well,
and you know what? And that's a lovely thing to have, you know what I mean? Because helping others, what you've been through, the pain, the nightmares that you've been through, you want to help people. You don't want people to go through what you've gone through, and this consultant.
Well, do you know what? When I got diagnosed with this condition, I was talking just before about my best friend, Ewan, and I was having a bit of a pity party on myself, you know, and I was like, why me? Why me? Why do I have to have it? And do you know his words to me were, why not you? Oh, your reaction is what I did.
Yeah.
He went, why not you? And I said, what? He said, well, you could use this to your advantage. You could go out and turn this into something amazing and help other people. And I was like, do you know what? You're right.
And that's just like that. When you're feeling a little bit down and you're feeling bang, he's just put it right, and he's just said, look. And Katie, he's totally right.
Yeah.
Because we turn a negative into a positive. Because
there's a lesson in everything, you know.
Of course there is, yeah. And you know what? You have to go through the good, the bad and the ugly.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Literally.
You do. I say it to every guest who comes on here all the time, and people who come on and share their stories and stuff like that. And everyone has a story.
Yeah.
No matter good, no matter bad, no matter ugly. And it can help if it helps one person, because you'd be surprised, you know, so many people go through certain things who can relate to something. Do you know what I mean? And your story is one that is...
It's peculiar.
It's not peculiar, it's different.
Yeah.
It's different. You might say it's peculiar, you know, if you're... but I think it's very different, and that's why I said to you, wow.
Yeah.
Wow, yeah.
Well, since I've been diagnosed, I got in touch with Kidney Care UK, because there wasn't anything on their website, and they have every kidney condition listed, apart from mine.
Yeah.
And my consultant wrote that paper for them, and it's now on their website. And now when a person gets diagnosed, because don't forget, this condition affects 1 in every 1,000,000 people.
Yeah.
But does it? Because it's the people who are being misdiagnosed, because there's doctors out there that don't
I just forgot about, like you said, that lady.
Yeah. And I
You know what I
think
mean?
because it is rare, and I know doctors are only human, nurses, midwives, they're all only human. They're not going to know everything. But it's nice that now I advocate for myself. I know now what's wrong with me. I know, because Dr. Goldsmith has told me. And only I know my body. Only I know how it's feeling. Only I know how bad the pain is. And I actually enjoy now educating.
Well, that's a thing that you could possibly, you know, look into and do, because...
I've had doctors in A&E before today who have not known what it is. You know, like these junior doctors who have just qualified. They don't have a clue. And I've said to them, go and listen to my podcasts on that, so yours will be getting mentioned next time I'm in A&E now. Go and have a listen to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in A&E just over a week ago because I had a really bad flare-up. And the doctor there said to me, Katie, I've never heard of it, but I'll do my best to help you. And that's all I ask.
Yeah,
Just listen to me.
But you know what, even, like, you know, you say Dr. Goldsmith and stuff like that, you know, bringing awareness and, listen, going in and standing in a room, because you're living proof that, look, this condition is real.
Yeah.
Do you know, but like you're saying, it's gone unnoticed because it's never been, you're living proof, you know, exactly.
We are hoping, all being well, to get a patient support group going. I have set up a WhatsApp group with the 15 people in that I found for him since, probably more by the end of this podcast gets out. He said to me, find me the patients. I went, no problem, doc. So I should be on commission now, really. Keeping them busy. And his secretary, Janice, as well. She's amazing. Like, she can't do enough for it. His whole team are fantastic. And they're really dedicated to the condition and raising awareness and doing that research.
What's been the most surprising reaction you've had since going, like, you know, going public, let's say public, like, you know, putting it out there on social media and stuff, and, you know, on other platforms and stuff?
Obviously, you get the odd divvy here and there.
Of course you do, yeah.
Like, one question, transgender women shouldn't be getting it. I'm not transgender, I was born, you know, things like divvy comments like that.
Of course you're going to get them. You've got nothing better to do.
I'm probably going to get some on this, you know what I mean? But I don't care if someone out there listens to it and says, that's me, or I think that could be me. Say what you want. But to be honest with you, the most things I've had is love. A lot of love. A lot of people who have said, wow, like, I didn't even know that this existed. And people tell me I'm brave. I don't think I'm brave. I just think I'm honest. And I just want to help someone. That's all I want to do. I don't cast myself as brave. I just...
You know, I'd say you're very brave, because to say what you've been through, considering, you know, from a young age to where you're at now, and you still go, you have your days where you're in pain and stuff like that. So you've got to take a little bit of what's named, but you are very brave, because I know a lot of people would, you know, wouldn't keep going and keep, you know, they think...
I just think to myself, when I'm having a bad day, I just think, like, it's not forever. I mean, I know I'm always going to live with pain, I know that, but I think this flare-up's not going to last forever. Yeah. But I'll last, but this flare-up won't. That's how I think. Yeah. And now I just think, if it helps one person by me just speaking like today, great.
Do you know as well, though, Katie, you know, you've reached out, or people have reached out to you and stuff from all over the world and stuff.
Yeah, I've had them from, like, Germany, I've had them from Holland, Canada, quite a few from Ireland, and these people are flying over to see Dr. Goldsmith, which I think is incredible.
That's unbelievable. Like, obviously they're reaching out from all over the world.
I'm very blessed, you know. I'm very lucky.
Yeah.
I'm very lucky.
Why would you say that?
Because he could have worked anywhere, but he worked in Aintree Hospital, and he picked my notes up that day, and I just think I'm very, very blessed.
Obviously, your consultants were meant to be in that day. It was a sign, like you said, you know what I mean?
Do you know what? And it's taken me 14 plus years to get a good team of doctors around me, because it hasn't always been plain
Of course,
sailing.
no.
You know, even my pain consultant, Dr. Jones, I've been under him for 20 years, believe it or not. I first went to see him when I was 18, and I'm 38 next month. So 20 years I've been under that consultant, and it's like going to see family.
You build up a, what's the name, you know, a relationship where you're not just a patient. You know, like you're saying, it's like your family, because you've been under them for that long and stuff like that.
I'd be devastated if these ever retire. They can't retire before anything happens to me, because I'd be devastated, honestly.
Do you know the people who've reached out to you? Is there a message or a story that's really stuck with you?
Yeah, I had a girl called Becky. She's from Liverpool, and she messaged me, and how much doctors who aren't educated in the condition think that we're drug seekers.
Really?
Yeah, we get that quite a lot. And in a way, they are right. We are seeking a drug, but we're seeking it
for the right reasons.
For the right reasons, yeah. It's not to get high or to sell it or for anything like that.
Unfortunately, some people
do. Yeah.
And I can sort of, but you know, what's it like? So, like you say, you feel like you're being, you know, you're labelled with that type of brush, aren't you? You know what I mean?
Like the lady Adelina from Holland, Amsterdam. She was the first patient that reached out to me. She was the first person, and so hi Adelina, because she's going to watch this. And she's actually come over, I think it is, to see Dr. Goldsmith, or their consultant has spoke with them, and she sent me a voice note. I can play it to you if you like.
Go ahead, yeah, if you want to.
I can play it. I'm sure she won't mind, because she asked me to play this to Dr. Goldsmith, who's just been with me. And you'll get the kind of idea of how much it's helped.
But this is someone from another country.
Another country, yeah.
But you just like, obviously, reaching out to people and stuff, and this is what you've got from her.
Morning, Katie.
This is it.
I hope you're doing fine. Could you please let Mr. Goldsmith get a hold of this voice clip when you're there for your next appointment or something? Dr. Goldsmith, thank you so much. Seriously, from the bottom of my heart. I spoke to Dr. Struik yesterday. She called me to check whether the tadalafil worked. And my God, it's a gift. It's a gift from God. It's wonderful.
That's just hearing that lady speaking. So do you know what? That's it.
Yeah.
For what you've had, you know, what you've created, and like reaching out to people.
Yeah.
And this medication.
That's just one person.
That's just one person. When you received that, how did that make you feel?
I sobbed, you know.
Yeah, I bet you did, yeah.
I did, because I'm a big softie, and I sobbed, and the first thing I did was ring Dr. Goldsmith's secretary, Janet, and I had to play it down the phone to her, because she's as incredible as him. There's nothing that she won't do for you, you know, and even she got really upset by it, you know.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't take the credit. He just says,
he's
I'm
selfless.
just doing...
He's sorted. He's there I think he probably looks at his job, and that's his job, instead of, but what he's doing, he's saving lives and helping people and stuff. And...
My dad, when I last had a phone appointment with him, my dad said, can I speak to Dr. Goldsmith? I was like, what for? Like, what do you want to speak to him for? And my dad said to him, thank you for bringing my daughter back.
Oh.
Honestly, and he said, because now, I know she's still in pain, but she's got someone in a corner fighting for her, and you've brought her back to me, and I just want to say thank you. And, you know, he's so selfless, Dr. Goldsmith. He said, I'm just doing my job.
That's what I mean. And
it's just doing my job. You don't need to thank me.
That's unbelievable, isn't it? That's unbelievable. But hiya everyone, sorry to interrupt this episode, but here's a quick one from me. If you're enjoying the podcast and you enjoy what we're doing, you can now buy us a coffee. It's a simple way to keep those stories coming. No subscription, just that one-off bit of support. The link's in the description. Now back to the episode. You know, have you faced any stigma or disbelief because of your treatments?
I have with my blue badge. Oh, we get loads. You wouldn't believe. Honestly, I had a fella the other day ask me to show him that it was my blue badge. Honestly, I'm not even kidding. And to be fair, Tony, I try not to use it, you know. I only use it on days where it's particularly bad and I'm struggling.
Yeah.
Or if I've got a hospital appointment that I need to get to and stuff. But on if I'm on an okay day, you know, I'll try not to use it. But that kind of stuff, because I present young, even though I'm like, you know, I'm 38, I think people expect it to be older people who have.
Disabled badges and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Is it just that one that sort of irritates you?
And using a disabled toilet, that gets right on my nerves, that. I go to the Empire a lot with my friends to see obviously musicals and whatnot. And I've got what they call a radar key, which is given to me by the consultant, and it unlocks a government disabled toilet. Obviously, you have to knock before you ding it. And some guy said to me, "You shouldn't be using that toilet. The normal toilets are upstairs." And my mate, Mark, do you know what I did? I pulled my catheter out, my handbag, and went, "Do you always ask people why you go in the toilet? Because if you do, mate, you've got a bit of a problem, and that's weird. Like, that's full on weird, that." I went, "Why are you just asking the disabled people?" And he didn't know where to look.
You just put him in his place,
I wouldn't normally have done that, but it was the way he spoke to me.
Yeah.
Rather than saying, "Do you really need to use that one?" You know?
What's the biggest misunderstanding about your condition or your medication?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say that it gets a lot of misdiagnosis.
Yeah.
A lot. And I think the biggest stigma we get is because people don't really get diagnosed with this condition until in the late 20s, early 30s.
But yours was from an early age, wasn't it?
Yeah, but they didn't diagnose me.
Didn't diagnose it yet.
Yeah, and that's the problem. So when you do read about it, it does say people in the late 20s to early 30s, that's predominantly the age. And so when people see a young person in pain, I think a lot of doctors think they can't be in that much pain, they're only young.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's that again, isn't it? You know, because it's not out there.
Yeah.
And you just assume, like we said, a water infection, a kidney, which is common, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But then, to be in that excruciating pain and stuff like that, and even with doubting yourself as well, when you're saying there's nothing on the X-ray, or, you know what I mean, there's nothing there, and you doubt yourself thinking, am I making it, you know, you start questioning, you know.
Yeah, you do. Like, am I going crackers? Like, is this really happening to me? Am I don't know, hallucinating that some of this is happening, or thinking it's more than what it is? You do question yourself a lot. Of
course you do, and, you know, like your parents have, you know, been very supportive and stuff like that, your mum and dad, and obviously that's what mum and dad's do, you know, your kids, but it must have been hard for them, you know, scary because they didn't know.
Yeah, and I think with your mum being a nurse as well, she had that kind of education behind her, and with my dad working for the NHS for like 45 years. Yeah, but I think when it becomes one of your own family members and predominantly your child, it must have been scary for them. And even now, like, they've got the caravan in Wales, and even I say to them, "Go and have a nice time, like, I'll be fine. If I need you, I'll phone you." My brother's only half a mile away, and they still now don't like leaving me, you know. And I want them, you know, they've been married 45 years, I want them to enjoy the life, you know. They work bloody hard. Go and enjoy your life, stop worrying about me. I know I can just pick up the phone and ring Dr. Goldsmith. It's not a problem, you know. Thank God for that, man. Or, you know, even my pain consultant, it's took a long time to get that.
But imagine if Dr. Goldsmith wasn't in that day. You know,
I don't know whether I'd be here now, you know.
Seriously.
Yeah. He genuinely saved my life.
You know, like you say, him picking them notes up that day and
it was
pushing on and doing, like you're saying, going to, like,
divine intervention, I say it was.
You know, even speaking to, like, the high up, you know, the board or whoever in the hospital, because they've got to speak to them, and doing the research and stuff like that, because they're very busy consultants and all that. And like you just said there, taking the time out, you'll have many patients, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
I think I'm his favourite now, though, so I think I'm his favourite.
But, you know, to even, like, he's researched it, like, you know, that's like going from top to bottom and going with all the paperwork to go to speak to the board and all that.
Yeah, and like he said to them, like, you know, when you think of how many admissions you get for chronic pain, like, this could be reduced just by taking this tablet. And it took them 6 weeks to make a decision.
6 weeks, though, that's not a lot. That's not like, don't get me wrong, it might seem long because you're in pain and stuff like that. But normally when people think about the NHS, 6 months or 12 months, you know, to try and get it because of that, because it's all over the shop, you know what I mean? And because, listen, they are only humans, but, you know, people making decisions and that sometimes it can be, but to get a what's name in 6 weeks is unbelievable, you know what I mean?
Well, do you know what the amazing thing is now, Tony? You've since progressed on from there now, and he doesn't have to get the permission anymore. He can prescribe it to whoever he thinks will benefit.
He's got to go ahead to do that.
He's got to go ahead now. Yeah, which is, I think that is in itself is a massive step we've took forward in the right direction.
And this is down to you. How does that make you feel? Because you're a patient, but then your recovery and stuff like that, you're like a little warrior because you're not giving up. And what you're doing and coming on here and speaking out, and that lady on the voice note there, you know, she's come across you and she lives in Holland.
Yeah.
People in Ireland.
I'm planning on going to Amsterdam hopefully shortly for my birthday with Ewan. And I've said to her, like, we have to meet because she lives in Amsterdam. And I've said to her, like, I just want to give you a hug because we're in touch all the time.
Yeah.
And it'd be lovely to
meet up and stuff like that.
Yeah, and say, because we call each other, like, our LPHS sisters. Like, the group is predominantly, we've got one male and one of them is, he's in America. And I think his consultant's going to speak to Dr. Goldsmith. But other than that, it's predominantly women in this WhatsApp group.
Yeah.
And we all call each other like our LPHS sisters.
Yeah.
But she was the OG with me.
Was she?
Yeah.
What change would you like to see in the NHS or medical research for rare conditions like yours?
More funding. It's crucial. I know there are other conditions that are more important than mine. Like there's kids with cancer who, you know, and I understand them being researched more. I get that. But if there's any doctors or any medical professionals watching this by any chance, just listen to your patients. Please listen to them. Because don't just assume because they're young or, you know, because they're saying they're in chronic pain, assume that they're drug seeking. It's not. We are genuine people who just want help.
Yeah. Do you think, you know, and I'm sure to God, you know, people in the medical profession will come across this and, you know, and like you're saying, listening and look, it's not just drug seeking or, you know, it's like they're making it up because, like you say, we've said it on a couple of occasions, you know, you feel like sometimes you are being, you know what I mean? It's just a kidney infection or whatever. I'm not a doctor, I'm not saying, but I'm just saying sometimes you feel like, because you know your own body, don't you?
Yeah, that's what I say to all these girls and many who I speak to. You are the biggest advocate for yourself. Only you know how much pain you're in. Only you know what the symptoms are. Open your mouth and advocate for yourself. And that's what I would say to anybody, not just with LPHS, anyone with any condition. You are your own advocate, you know?
Yeah. And just go for it and just push it.
Yeah, and say, no, this is not right. I want X, Y, and Z. I want tests and I want this. I want second opinion. Push for it because you'll get it. If you're loud and you say, I'm not going anywhere until you listen to me, someone will eventually listen.
Yeah. And like you said there when you were going and stuff and at the very start, you know, and then your mum said, look, a second opinion. And obviously your mum being around the medical profession and stuff, she's saying, look, this isn't right, this isn't right, you know, and, you know, but at the end of the day, you just kept going and kept knocking and, you know, you got there and stuff like that.
I took a few knocks down on the way, but when I got back up, I knocked them right back, I took a few good hits along the way, like, you know, but now, because I've seen the change in such a short amount of time with him being able to prescribe it now without having to go to the board and get permission, you know, I've seen people coming to me and saying, like, this medication's, like, changed my life.
Yeah.
Now it just makes all that worth it.
It makes it so
I'd do it all over again, you know.
Would you? Seriously?
I would. If it helped people, I'd do it all over again.
But even like you say, you know, we said before, going into, you know, medical schools and, you know, and stuff like that, would that be something that you'd be...
I'd love to do that.
You know,
I would,
you know, because,
like
you're saying, your conditions are very, what's the name on, you know...
Yeah, 1 in a million.
Your
mum always says I was 1 in a million and she wasn't wrong.
But you know what, like you say, it's going in, like you're saying, junior doctors and all that, you know, it's only going to benefit them.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And like, you know, even other consultants, and it's not, you know, you're living proof that what your condition is, you know, sometimes it gets, but then going into these type of places, that'd be something that you should really look into, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're trying to, what you're doing now is fantastic and it's unbelievable. You've got people from all over the world, you know, reaching out to you and stuff, and I just think it's only going to get bigger. Hopefully this podcast can raise so much awareness for you.
I'm sure it will.
I hope it really does. But, you know, if someone's struggling with a rare or undiagnosed condition, what would you want them to hear?
That they're powerful. They are powerful. They are tough, and they've got it. Like, you know, I know it's hard, but that's what makes you beautiful, and that's what makes you, you.
Yeah. Is that what you say to them? Like, yeah.
I'd say this is what makes you, you, and that's beautiful. And a lot of people say to me, like, oh, what's it like being classed as disabled at 38 or whatever? And I say, I don't see it as that. I see it that I've got an ability to do things in a different way.
It's great to see you've got that perspective on it, because
I never used to, don't get me wrong, I used to have pity parties a lot, but now I just think, you know.
did you used to, what's the name yourself, did you beat yourself up when you,
all the
when
time.
you'd say, you know.
Especially like when you said earlier on, like, you know, especially with my older brother, you know, we played football a lot. My mum would miss games. My mum would miss taking him to training because she'd be so caught up in making sure that I had everything I needed at the hospital. She was making sure, you know, that she'd bring me food in to make sure that I was eating because I wouldn't eat the hospital food, or, you know, I had magazines or, you know, she was so caught up making sure that I was okay that I'll always have that bit of guilt. I'll always have that bit of guilt, even though my brother says it's fine. But I'll always hold that, I think.
Yeah, of course you will, but you know what? Your brother giving you that peace of mind, saying, look, you know,
Yeah.
don't be soft and thinking that, even though you're going to think it.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you can see that he's a proper big brother who he understands.
Don't get me wrong, we can fight like cat
Oh
and
yeah,
dog.
I've got a son and daughter, and they used to they used to batter each other and stuff like that. But it just makes you, you know, as siblings and brother and sister and stuff like that.
I think we're quite close now because there's only us two. There's only the two of us. And he's been the luckiest one. He's never had a thing wrong with him. He's never broke a bone. And I'm the one who bloody got everything, didn't I? You know, if there was something going around, Katie got it. You know, apart from chicken pox, I've never had chicken pox in my life. But yeah, like, you know, I'll always hold that guilt. But I'll also be thankful for him because he gave me the biggest kick up the arse as well.
What you needed to hear at that time.
He was cruel to be kind.
Yeah.
But it worked.
Yeah, it was a wake-up call, wasn't it? And listen, that's what you need sometimes. You don't need people to, you know, tip it. You need to sugarcoat it, because, listen, it's real, you know, and people go through it, and he wanted his little sister to understand, and I think it was very powerful what he said about your nephews.
I think it was brave as well.
Yeah, because you could go the other way and go, don't you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and kick off.
And kick off. But hearing them, you know, that, like, real truth from him, and, like, look, and you sort of went, bang, listen, I'm going to sort myself out and do, you know, get my head together here and try and deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And stuff like that. But where do you see your journey going from here, both personally and raising awareness?
I'd love to get into, like you said, going into maybe medical schools or nursing schools. Universities talking about
colleges
it.
And stuff like that.
Yeah, going to conventions or whatever and talking about it. You know, I'd love to do all these things. That's what I'd like to do. My friend tells me I should do a bit more content creating around it.
Listen, and do you know what? I think your friend's totally right, because people go on, social media is great for a lot of things, you know what I mean? But stuff like this, you know, your story, and people have social media all over the world.
Yeah.
And even now, though, even though you've got people reaching out to you, like, you know, on the platforms, even doing what you're doing and just explaining your story and your journey and stuff like that. Funny, this is a bit of a what's the name one. I was out on Saturday in town with me brother and that for his 40th. And one of his friends, he had the transplants and stuff, and we were talking about you again. We were talking, your ears must have been burning.
That's why I couldn't get to sleep.
So, and I said to him, you know, we were just in conversation while we were having some food and that, and he was like, "What? I'm gonna watch that." And I said, and I explained it, and but all the lads stopped, and they were all like,
"Yeah,"
what? Because I mentioned, you know, she's the first lady in the UK, you know, to ever be prescribed Viagra off license. You know what I mean? And they were like, Tony, how's it? I went, I don't know yet.
She hasn't got any spare, has she?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? But it was something that we all spoke, that we were speaking about, and everyone was dead interested. And it was like, because it was
That's
like,
amazing
you know,
in
and
itself.
honestly, that's the God's honest truth. We were speaking about it, but I think what your friend said there about maybe, you know, doing like a day-to-day or whatever, you know, whatever.
A day in the life.
A day in the life and stuff like
yeah.
that. And I think it keeps your mind going, it keeps you, you know, what you're trying to do. And I think it's, because you do see people on the likes of TikTok and stuff like that, Instagram, and people just, and then people start falling into your DMs like they already are.
Yeah.
You know, for, listen, my son or my daughter or, you know, my family member and stuff like that, because everybody uses social media.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think it'd be like you say, you want to help people. You can see
Yeah.
you're a caring person. You can see, you know, what you've been through, but you still want to help others. Do you know what I mean?
It's just, you know, I know how hard my parents had it, you know, watching the daughter, the baby of the family going through that. And if I can stop that for another parent, like, funnily enough, I've got a girl's mum in the WhatsApp group, her daughter's 15, very similar story to mine. Comes to Dr. Goldsmith and she's on tadalafil now. Didn't have to go to the board, could just prescribe it.
He just signed it off,
He just
you know.
prescribed it. But he's the only doctor who can prescribe it. You know, like normally where...
Is it just he's based in Liverpool, is he?
Yeah, he's based in Aintree Hospital, yeah.
In Aintree, yeah.
Yeah. So only he can prescribe it. So, you know, normally when you get a prescription off your consultant, they'll write to your GP and say, continue that prescription. Only he can prescribe it because he's got the go-ahead for it with GP.
Where, obviously, with your case, you had to go to the board and all that
Yeah,
first. But
because
now,
that was the first one, yeah.
Yeah.
But now he fills out prescriptions and it gets sent to wherever.
But even like you're saying, like that lady in the group and the daughter's only 15, straight away, there you go. And it's solving problems. And it's like you're saying, and it's unbelievable that he's the only one in the UK.
It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm so blessed, you know, Tony. I know I've said that before, but I am so lucky.
I love you're continuing to do it, you know what I mean?
Not a lot of people would get that lucky in life to find a doctor who just says, I know what's wrong with you. And I'm very lucky that it's not just him, but my pain doctor, they're all amazing. And I'm very, very blessed because there's people out there who haven't even got one consultant fighting for them. I've got two there.
Yeah. And I think hopefully people get wind and come across this and, you know, you start getting inundated with like, you know, people wanting to know more information, you know, and the similar, you know...
Even nosy people coming in my inbox, like, I would love that. If it educates people, that's amazing.
But that's what you're doing. You're helping people, you're educating people and the symptoms and stuff like that where they go, oh my God, this is, you know, we're going to the doctor and they don't know what it is. Like your story, do you know what I mean? So that's great in that respect. And I really do think you're going to do, you know, good things with this, really do. And I think you're going to bring a lot of people together and get them, you know, get them the attention that they need to be done.
Even people like who aren't diagnosed with LPHS, you know, I'd still be supportive to people who have got like a rare or an unknown condition because they've probably been through very similar things, even though it's a different condition. You know, we'll probably, you know, and what I mean by that is getting the knockbacks off doctors, not getting the second opinions, getting fobbed off. I've had all that too. If, you know, I can support someone else with a different condition who's had exactly the same.
But that's there you go. That's you know, wanting you caring for others again, and it's one of them. But what's been the good, the bad, the ugly through your journey, Katie?
The good is the people it's brought together, the people it's helped. The bad for me would be, again, me brother not having me mum and dad around as much. The ugly, I would say, the not knowing what's going to happen, what tomorrow's going to bring, what next week's going to bring. That's the ugly part for me, because you never know. You can't plan anything. You can't go anywhere really on my own, you know. So the ugly, but then that's kind of beautiful in itself, isn't it? Because it's my journey and no one else travels that journey.
I can see you getting very emotional saying that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it has been a big, you know, a long journey, and you know, to get you to where you're at now, and the pain you've been through, and the not knowing. But I can see, you know, you're very, you know, you're tearing up and stuff, but that just goes to show you what type of person you are, though, Katie. You never give in, you never give up. You know, times that you felt like you did, but you didn't, and you're here to tell your story, and you're here to help people. And I genuinely think that from here, that's what you're going to do. And I think probably in the next couple of months or whatever, no doubt we'll get a message or something like that. And you say,
Part 2 incoming.
no, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
I think it'd just be brilliant to what you know, what you're trying to do. And I think helping people is, you know, the world's such a better place when people help one another.
It's nice to be nice, Tony.
Of course it is.
Nice to be
It costs
nice.
nothing.
Yeah.
It costs nothing. And it's all...
Love will always conquer hate, you know, and I think if we all supported each other a bit more and we were all a bit kinder to each other, it would be so much easier.
Of course it would. And it would be the perfect place, do you know what I mean? But unfortunately, it
doesn't work like that.
It doesn't work like that. Wish it did, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And everything was all hunky-dory and it was all sound as a pound, but it's not. It's just, life's, you know, it has its ups and downs, and it's crazy, and you just want the world to be a nice place, but unfortunately, it's we have a bit of crap along the way, you know what I mean? But what's family life like today for you?
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing. Like, my eldest niece now is basically my makeup artist, which is absolutely fantastic.
So you don't have to pay?
No, it's all my makeup, like, but I don't have to pay. She puts it on. And, you know, my mum and dad are able to go to the caravan on their own without me as well, now. You know, and I've got very, very, very supportive friends. It's not just my family. I've got an amazing bunch of friends.
That's a big thing as well, innit? You know what I mean? Having good people around you.
And
who understand you as well.
I was lonely for a very long time. I was very lonely for a long time because I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything. I was in pain. And if I wasn't in hospital, I was in my room. You know, so I was lonely for a very, very long time. And I met my friend Ewan and we clicked instantly.
Straight away.
And he's given me that little bit of a shove and a little bit to kick up the bum.
Sounds like when he said that to you, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But you need that though, you know what I mean? You do need stuff like that.
But now I've met friends who are so caring, and, you know, if I say to them, they'll say to me, Katie, we're going to go crystal shopping because we're into our crystals and things. So we're going to go Lark Lane crystal shopping, do you want to come? And if I say, I'll let you know. And if I turn around and say I can't go, you go, no problem.
Do you understand?
Do you understand?
Do you know what I'm going to ask you something here, Katie?
Oh.
Do you know when you're saying you felt lonely?
Yeah.
Because we can all have lots of friends and stuff. And this is something I've sort of what's named, you know, when you're having a bad day or you feel like you're struggling.
Yeah.
And you want to reach out to that friend, but you don't want to pass
Yeah.
You don't want to sort of pass your problem on to them. Did you ever feel like that where you think, I don't want to... I don't want to pass my problem on to them.
Yes. Yeah, a lot.
Even though you're sort of like, you're lonely, you don't really want to... They might be having a fantastic day. Or
you don't want to put a
positive and all
that.
But then you feel like you can't speak to anybody, but then you've got them friends, the type of friends now, have you?
Yeah.
Is that how you felt at times, was it?
Yeah, very much so, yeah. I'd never want to put my problems onto anyone else. I'd never want to, like, you know, make them feel sorry for me either. And then if they're having a bad day, I didn't want to add to it. And I just kept a lot of it to myself.
And that's what people do, Katie. And you know what? You know, at times people feel like that's why they don't speak out or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think speaking out and, you know, when it sounds like you've got a good bunch of friends there.
I have.
You know what I mean?
I'm very lucky.
I like that they're saying, oh, can I let you know? Because you don't know how you're going to feel, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they're like sound where, you know, sometimes they go, oh, I've asked them.
Like, I go to meditation a lot. I go to meditation every week with Ewan and my friends and that. And even the girls at the meditation now have come to learn about my condition and they've become friends. And there's been times when I've been doing the meditation and I've had to get up and I've had to get out because I'm in pain and I wasn't comfortable. And they'll help me, like, get out the room quietly and not to disturb anyone. And they'll be like, are you okay, sis? They always call me sis, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I just didn't want to disturb anyone, you know. And even that, like, to be so understanding in a situation like that.
Because they're lovely people, do you know what I mean? It's
yeah.
Like, you can see that they're really nice people and stuff. But yeah, I just wanted to ask you because, like you say, it
was a very lonely place to be.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes when you're fighting with your own mind, it makes life 10 times harder.
With what you're going through, you know what
Yeah,
I mean? Yeah.
yeah,
You're questioning yourself and you're doubting yourself, but then, you know, that little warrior in you, that little fight that you've got in you.
that little chihuahua that's not letting go.
No, but that's it. It's a good thing that you've got that. But listen, you know, it's great to understand your story and the condition, and you know, because it's going to help so many people. Do you know what I mean? I know it's going to help a lot of people, because when people do come across the podcast and whatever, you know, they're going to start getting in touch, and you're helping people. You know, you're going to help people to get in touch with with Dr. Goldsmith and stuff, and stuff like that, because like you say, he's the only one in the UK that can prescribe this, or you know, diagnose it or whatever, because like there's doctors out there and consultants that don't know what it is. But what's in the pipeline for Katie Newell?
Hopefully advocating for other people. Hopefully I'm going to get this patient support group set up with Dr. Goldsmith.
Yeah.
And we're going to smash it, and we're going to help, not millions, but we're going to help a lot of people. And I'm hoping that'll be not in the far too distant future.
Very soon. That's what you want to do.
Yeah.
But also going into, you know, medical schools and unis and colleges and stuff like that. And would you love to do something like that?
I'd love it.
Standing at the front with a projector and all
Oh
that.
yeah, like with my glasses on the end of my nose, like clicking the thing for the next slide.
Yeah.
No.
But it's good. But it's all positive and good, and it's raising awareness. Would you love to do that? Would you?
I'd love to do that, and I'm hoping to start doing that with the content creating, because my friend Ewan, he's like a massive content creator. He knows how to film it cinematically and all the rest of it. He's had me. I feel like King Charles. You know, I'm in the longest apprenticeship of my life, because he has me practicing. I'm doing it all properly. But I'm hoping to do that, and then maybe that might make, if people search LPHS, people might come across me more. So I'm hoping to do that in the future, not too far away.
No, that's it. But if anyone needs to get in touch with you, you know, how can they get in touch with you on your socials and stuff?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram mostly. Ms. Like Ms. Magazine, literally. I know, I've had that since I was 13. MIZZ_Scouse, Ms. Scouse. And I'm going to be setting one up called Living with LPHS. I'm going to set that up tonight.
That on Instagram as well, yeah. And you're on Facebook and TikTok and stuff?
Yeah, I'm just Katie Newell. Katie Newell on Facebook, and TikTok again is Ms. Scouse.
So if anyone wants to reach out, you can just obviously give you a message and stuff like that.
Yeah, my inbox is open to anyone.
Yeah. But listen, do you know what, Katie? That was so interesting, you know. I was like, I didn't know what to expect when you know what I mean? And I'm going to be honest, I was like, but when, you know, you delved into things and stuff, and you understand what the condition is and why you prescribe Viagra, because people just assume it's this and it's that. But knowing and understanding your story, it was mind-blowing, because you just assume, people just assume, don't they, Viagra, or you know what I mean? But
she must be randy all the time here, taking that,
You know what I mean? One of them ones, put them in your eyes, you look hard, you know what I mean? But
my cousin says to me all the time, my cousin says to me all the time, don't get it stuck in your throat, you'll end up with a hard neck. I go, well, behave yourself.
So that's what I'm saying.
You'll end up with a stiff neck, he says to me.
But you know what? It's been really interesting, and I just want to say thank you so much for sharing the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on, honestly.